All right, everyone. Donald Trump has ignited a firestorm politically with regards to the Gaza Strip at this moment. He's optioning the concept of the United States simply taking it over, it appears. This is not, in my opinion, an actionable idea. Now, this is probably just a big ask sort of moment. It's probably diplomacy. As we've seen with regards to tariffs and things like that, Donald Trump has won a series of major diplomatic arguments with regards to this. This is a little bit different, though. The idea of annexing just the Gaza Strip, in my opinion, is not an actionable idea. I've said before that if the United States were to try to pursue peace in the region, the best thing that would be done is Palestine and Israel would both be annexed at the same time. Trump clearly isn't interested in doing so. Annexing only the Gaza Strip, which is a very, very small area, in order to ensure peace, you could do that, but you would engage in a long-term conflict that I don't think would be helpful to our nation. So I oppose this particular plan. That being said, it's probably just a big ask. It's basically like, hey, Palestine, knock it off, otherwise we're going to annex part of your territory. I don't think that Donald Trump is truly serious about attempting to annex the Gaza Strip. It's sort of like the annexation of Canada, making them the 51st state or something like that. It's more to get them to back down on the border and, fuel prices and things like that. It's purely economical. I don't think that Donald Trump is actually going to invade Gaza. Now, could the United States invade Gaza, take it over, and hold it? Yes, it could. But it would come at greater expense than the amount of income that you make from it economically. It would come at a great loss of manpower, and it would come at a great diplomatic cost. The Kremlin, for example, link in the description, has come out and condemned the concept of it. It wouldn't really work, I think, in the end. And looking at the legacy media articles also is something that I always do. And I noticed that left-leaning legacy media is like, the Kremlin condemns it. Here's Trump's tyrannical, terrible, awful plan. It's not actually a bad plan. It's just one that, in the end, short-term would work, but long-term probably would just be a burden to the United States. If you're going to take over the Gaza Strip, you have to combine it with Israel and with the West Bank, and you have to take the whole thing and make it into a territory, something like that. If you do that, you can have a lasting peace. It would be easy to administer. Anything short of that, and it would be very difficult to administer. And I don't understand what U.S. interest would be in the Gaza Strip, honestly. I'm not criticizing Trump over the basic premise. I actually support the premise. I've talked about this for years, the idea that the United States should go into the Levant and combine a bunch of territories and effectively take them over because they are incapable of governing themselves. That being said, Donald Trump is never going to do that to the state of Israel. And so taking over the Gaza Strip, I mean, okay, that's fine, I suppose. You can deport the Palestinians to Egypt, I guess, or something like that, but it doesn't really make sense. But that's not, in the end, what I think his goal is. I think his goal is to shock and awe and to scare them into negotiating. That is, you tell them, hey, maybe we'll send a few platoons of Marines over there. They will flatten your entire country. You will not exist anymore. So you need to come to the table, basically. I think that that's basically the purpose of this. I don't think that Donald Trump seriously wants to invade Gaza, especially because for the first time in a very long time, we have a Republican president who is generally reluctant to wage war. Former Republican presidents, look at Bush, his dad, even Ronald Reagan, they've been very, very gung-ho for the military. I support the military myself. That being said, I would prefer to keep them stateside so they don't get shot at in some fucking desert or jungle somewhere. I think that that's the responsible thing to do. Go to war when you have to. Don't go to war if you don't have to. This is pretty self-explanatory, by the way. Trump appears to have effectively the same state of mind with regards to this. In diplomacy, though, he makes the big ask, and he backs people down, and then they give him some of what he wants. He's never going to get 100%, like with Canada or with Mexico, for example. He didn't get 100% of the big ask. It was effectively, we'll secure the borders more, we'll go after the fentanyl dealers, and try to help you out. Well, that's good enough now, isn't it? Goonies are good enough. That's basically the best that you can hope for. You make the big ask and say, look, I can fuck you in the ass, or you can give me a reach around. Those are basically your choices. Well, I don't want to get fucked in the ass. I guess I'll give you a reach around. That's what Trump did to the Canadians. It's what Trump did to the Mexicans. It's probably what he's doing in Palestine. Basically, in that particular sense, it's probably more, come and negotiate, get things done. I promised the American people that I was going to get a peace agreement fairly quickly. Just fucking talk it out with the Israelis. That's probably what's happening right now. I don't think he's actually going to launch an invasion of Gaza. If he did, by the way, I would not support it in any way, shape, or form. It'd be too limited. You'd have to invade Israel at the same time and say, look, we're asserting hegemony over the entire Levant. Maybe we'll take Jordan too. Maybe we'll take Syria and Lebanon. Who's going to stop us? Probably nobody. If you were to establish an enormous colony over there, that would be one thing. Taking over just Gaza, though, it's an extremely tiny strip of land. Logistically, it would not make sense. Do we have the ability? Yes. Do we have the will? Perhaps. Is there a reason to do so? No. And so this is basically just a threat to get negotiations going, in my opinion. I don't think that Donald Trump is actually going to invade the Gaza Strip, and I think that the left-wing media, when it gets all goofed up about this, you're not understanding how Donald Trump operates. He operates by making a big ask. He literally wrote a book on this subject, by the way. Make a big ask, and then you get some of what you wanted. You get something. You extract tribute, effectively, from other countries simply by threatening them, effectively. He did this with North Korea. When North Korea popped off under the Trump presidency, for example, he said, well, I have a much bigger red button on my desk and it actually works. What happened is that North Korea, which had threatened the United States materially, immediately backed down and said, no, we don't want any problems. No, we're sorry, that wasn't what we wanted. What happened next? Donald Trump became the first U.S. president to step foot in North Korea. There was a repatriation of remains. There was a reunification of families, a removal of landmines, a removal of border posts, etc., removal of border propaganda broadcasts. You had a huge success there, and all Trump had to do was make the big ask. And he did this by saying, well, I can nuke you. What are you going to do about it? You can't nuke us. You have no power here, effectively. This has happened over and over and over. Every single time the liberal legacy media flips its shit at what Donald Trump is doing, but he keeps goddamn winning. Now, that's not to say that everything that he does is a win. He has had diplomatic failures, of course, as any president inevitably will have. And if he were to invade Gaza, I would not support that. for reasons that I've aforementioned. That being said, I have a feeling this is the same diplomacy that he's engaged in over and over again for multiple years. I don't think he's going to invade Gaza. I'm not worried about him being a warmonger. If he does devolve into a warmonger, I would be the first person to criticize him, but I don't get that sense. I have a feeling that this is literally just a big ask. It's the art of the deal, in other words. That's about all. Peace out.